Like a bell cut.
Hi viewers, welcome to Techie Track YouTube channel. Today we are going to discuss about OOPS concept and how we are going to apply the OOPS concept in Java. So what is the meaning of OOPS? OOPS means Object Oriented Programming System. So there are four key parts are there like abstraction, encapsulation, inheritance and polymorphism. Let's see that. First of all we need to understand what is the object and how the orientation and programming we can write that. Okay. So what is class? So in Java, I think if you go through my previous video, I just gave the one sample program to uh, just program to print the hello world, right? So it's a very simple program and I return the simple program inside the class. So what is class? So class is like a collection of entities, variables or properties you can declare it, and you can write the methods that is called functions inside the class. So if you are declaring any entities or variables, you can write the operations using that variables and properties. For example, everybody is having the phone, smartphone is there. So what are all the components of smartphone? Camera, processor, memory, everything is there. So what is the functionality of the camera? You can take the video, take the photos, and you can install the apps, right? In the same way, the class is having the variables. Like in mobile phone, you have the camera, processor, memory. In the same way, the class is having the variables, properties, and arguments as well. So the functionality of the camera is you need to take the videos, you can take the photos, right? In the same way, you can write the methods in Java. So for example, you are using two variables. For example, you gave like in the example, right? I am just write a simple example like public class simple cal c. So I am trying to write a simple calculator program. So here that integer c, I just declare that. After that I have the methods public int add to. The meaning of the method is like I'm going to add two numbers. So I'm passing two numbers a comma b, and in line number 5 c is equal to a plus b and return c. This is a very simple method. In the same way, subtraction also I write the same kind of method. C is equal to a minus b and return c. So this is called class. So line number 2 contains variables and line number 4 and line number 9 start with methods. So in these methods it is applying the variables and doing the calculation, manipulation, and it is returning the output, right? So this is called class. So what is object? So in line number 15 you see that I'm creating another one static class. In the upcoming videos I will explain about that what is a static class and normal class, finally everything. So the static class name is useCalc and it is having a public static void main function. So inside that I am creating the object for the simple class. Okay, simple calc. So I'm creating the object name called obj is equal to new simple calc. What is the definition of line number 17? Simple calc is the class name. To access the variables and methods inside the class, I need to create the object. So that's the reason I just give the object name as obj. You can give whatever name you want, that there is no rule for that. And is equal to new is a keyword, and simple calc with two brackets, right? It means it's a constructor. So while the statement is getting executed, Java will initialize the object. So it will create the constructor and it will give the rights to the object to access the methods and variables inside the class. Okay. So in line number 18 you see that obj.add2, within the bracket I give 10 comma 3. So what it will do, obj, that is the object, will call the method inside the symbol calc add2, and it will pass the values 10 comma 3. So 10 will be stored into the variable the parameter a, and 3 will be stored into the parameter b, and c is equal to a plus b, and it will return c. The same way in line number 19 I'm calling the subtract method, subtract 2. I'm passing two values, 20, 13. If you go to the line number 9, 20 will be stored into the parameter A and 13 will be assigned to the parameter B. In line number 10, C is equal to A minus B, 20 minus 13, and it will be 7, and it will return the 7 into the system.out.println, and it will print the value. Okay, so hope you understand this simple class. Let's move on to the another one example. I told you, right, the simple phone. Okay, so the phone, we have a lot of components like camera, memory, RAM, everything is there. In the same way, I thought to write a simple program. So public static class, the phone is a class name, and I'm giving the simple variable called string. S camera resolution is a variable name. I'm writing two methods, set camera resolution and get camera resolution. Set camera resolution is assign the value to the variable. Get camera resolution will return the variable's value. So in line number 9, that record video, and line number 12, play video, I just declare it because I am not going to write the implementation for that, because this program is the objective of this program is to simply explain how the class is written and how we can access the methods and variables inside the class. Okay, move on to the line number 17. So in 17 we are declaring we are writing the simple main method, and I am creating the object for phone class. So create a one object name is Nokia. I already told you, right, you can give whatever the name you want for the object. So I'm giving the Nokia as the object name. So I'm just setting that Nokia.set camera resolution of 5 MP. That means 5 megapixel. I thought to assign that. So what it will do, the object will call the method set camera resolution, and it will assign the value to the parameter. Go to the line number 3, and it will assign the value to the S camera resolution parameter, and it will store it to the object, and it will come back. So in line number 21, I gave Nokia dot get camera resolution. So it will be assigned to the object, right? So here it will go to the line number 6 and this dot camera resolution. So it will return the value. What is the value we assigned? 5 MP. So it will return the 5 MP and it will print it into the statement. In the same way, I am creating another one object. So you can create lot of objects and lot of class, depends on the requirement. Just want the sample, I just created two objects for the same class. There is no hard and fast rule you need to create only one object or multiple object. Depends on the requirement of the program, we can create that. Okay, so the Samsung is another one variable name, object name. Samsung dot set camera resolution is 12 MP. So it will go to the line number 6 and assign to that, and in line number 25 I'm calling the get camera resolution. It will print the value. Okay, this is a simple class and objects. Okay, let's move on to the OOPS concept. Okay, so in this video we are going to discuss about abstraction. So what is abstraction? Abstract means what is the essential thing. You need to share the essential thing only. You don't want to share the unnecessary things. Yeah, you may thought like that. Yeah, everybody is in the same way, right? Normally human being is doing the same thing, right? If they are asking any questions, then we are giving the relevant information, right? But why you are saying the abstraction is you need to give the essential information, don't give the unnecessary information? Because you may have the experience about the various websites. For example, certain shopping carts websites and other websites, right? They are asking the information about while you are doing the sign up. They will ask username, first name, last name, email address, and everything. And they will ask that favorite color, favorite actor, and lot of details, but they are going to utilize the username, first name, last name, email address, those 4 to 5 variables only, 5 data only, they are frequently utilizing it. So in the screen of the app or website, you can see these information only. So for example, you are developing a simple shopping cart website for a mobile store. So you are asking username, first name, last name, and other details, and favorite color, favorite sports, and other things also. But once the user is signed into the application, you need to display the username, first name, last name, those mandatory. That is those essential information only you need to display that. So unnecessary information you don't want to display that. Okay. And other thing, if you want to share your details to some other websites or some other services, right? So you can't, you don't want, you should not share more details like favorite colors, passwords, other details you should not share to other services. Okay. So you need to share the minimal information. Let's see that. So that is called abstraction. Okay. Here I am explaining about the abstract class in Java. So what is the abstract class? So you can write the class. We already write the simple class and we gave the keyword called abstract. So if you write the class and if you put the abstract keyword in front of that, then it will become an abstract class. So abstract means you need to share the minimal information, right? So then you need to write the abstract methods inside the class, because class should have the methods and method only will do the desired operations, right? Okay. And you need to just declare the methods. You don't want to write the code for that method. So the abstract class only contain the declaration of the abstract method. As well, you can keep the non-abstract method. Non-abstract method means you can give the normal methods. That methods don't have the abstract keyword. Then it will become a non-abstract methods, right? Okay. And generally we are creating the object for the class, right? If you are declaring a class as abstract class, you should not create the object. Then how can I use my abstract class? So you need to extend the class, or you can create an interface and you can implement the interface in some other classes. Let's see that in the upcoming example. Okay. For example, I already told you I am going to develop a shopping cart website, right? So I want to share the information. So for example, the users wants to purchase the mobiles using my website, as well as they want to purchase mobiles using Amazon and Flipkart also. So for example, I'm running a simple company, mobile company, so I'm displaying my stocks into Amazon or Flipkart. If you click my product, then it will redirect to my services and it will give the details. So then what I want to do that, I need to give the appropriate information to the vendors, right? Amazon or Flipkart, whatever it is. I need to give the rate of the mobile, model of the mobile and other details. I don't want to share the username, address and email of the appropriate users. I should not share those information, right? So in this scenario, we need to write the abstract class. Okay. For example, here I am giving a simple class. Smartphone is a simple class. So I declared it as an abstract class, and the method is also the abstract method. In line number 2, abstract string get rate. String is a return type and get rate. So just I declare the abstract class. So in the line number 5, I want to share the get rate. I want to share the rate of the mobile, right? So that's the reason my abstract class is getting extended in the Flipkart class. And what they are doing, that they are implementing the get rate method. So what they are in that, they are writing the string get rate of return the value. Okay. In the same way, in line number 11, class Amazon is returned and it's getting extended the smartphone. So smartphone contains the abstract method, that name is get rate, so it returns the method body. So if you see that the abstract class contains only the declaration of the methods, abstract methods, and extended classes contains the definition of the method. Definition means it's having the lot of statements inside the same methods. Okay. So let's move on to, so if I am calling the Flipkart method, Flipkart class, then it should return the Flipkart's rate, and if I create the object for Amazon, it should return the Amazon's rate, right? So how can we do that? I'm creating another one class, testmarty. So what I do that, I create a one simple main method and create the object for the, declare the object for the abstract class, smartphone object 1. So I should not initialize. For example, I should not give smartphone object 1 is equal to new smartphone. If I give that, it will throw the exception, because you can't instantiate or you can't create the object for the abstract class. Okay. Then you need to, then what I need to do that, you need to create the object for that extended class, like a child class. So in line number 19, what I gave that smartphone object1 is equal to new Flipkart. I gave that. So Flipkart is a extended class. Okay. So what it will do, if I give object1 dot get rate of interest, means what it will return, that it will call the method get rate and it will print the value. So in the line number 21, I'm creating the another one object called obj2 for Amazon class. And if I give that obj.getRate, means what it will do, it will return the value. Okay, actually it's my mistake, I gave the get rate of interest, but it should be the get rate. I will correct it in the appropriate slides. Okay, so it will return the output as 9,000 for Flipkart and 8,000 for Amazon. How it is happening? It is happening on behalf of the abstract implementation. So hope you will get the idea about that, what is abstract class, what is the abstract, and you will get the details about that. So in the upcoming session we will, let's see about the remaining OOPS concepts. Okay, so if you are not getting understand, or if you want more example, please let me know in the comment section. Please like it, share it. Happy coding. Bye bye.